Hi everyone, this is Kelly Allen, and I'm coming to you from my tiny house here in Turner, Oregon. And if you've seen my previous videos, then you're familiar with the background and story of my experience with psychedelics and how they've helped me. And the reason I'm creating this video is to discuss the topic of integration and the importance of integration and some methods and techniques that I personally have found helpful, and hopefully that will help you as well. First of all, I guess I should say that disclaimer, I'm not creating this video for any other purpose other than education. I'm not promoting the use of psychedelics. I'm not going to talk about specifics as far as dosages or specific types of psychedelics and, how to go about using them, or, this isn't a demonstration of using psychedelics. But again, this is information on the integration process after you have used psychedelic medicine to help you on your journey. So I've made a number of notes so that I can try to keep myself on track and not go off on a tangent. And I do want to start off by providing a word of caution. The way I look at any experience with psychedelics, whether it's 5-MeO, 5-MeO DMT, whether it's ayahuasca, psilocybin, magic mushrooms, regular DMT, LSD, MDMA, ketamine, whatever medicine it is that you've already used. And if you have, then I'm hoping that this video helps you to plan the integration process for yourself so that you can truly benefit from the experience. Because doing the medicine is only the start of the journey, the start of the healing journey. And I think that's something that sometimes goes unsaid. I also believe it's important to know that really you should feel that you're called to the medicine. If the medicine is calling you and you've been hearing about it, reading about it, researching it, and you're learning about the process of using a psychedelic medicine for healing with that intention, and again it's calling you, then maybe that's the path you should be taking. However, if you're just planning to take psychedelics for fun, or because you've heard it can be a wild ride, or if you think it's a quick fix and you haven't really thought it through, then I'd advise you to take your time and really you do some more research, learn about the experience, learn about set and setting, which is very important. And I've mentioned this in a past video, but you can Google set and setting psychedelic trip or psychedelic journey, psychedelic healing set and setting. There's a lot of information out there about that. And that's not the purpose of this video, but knowing what your intention is and what you expect to get out of the experience, it's really important. It's also important to know that you are going to be in the right setting, that you're going to be comfortable, that you'll have someone sitting with you that can help you, someone hopefully who is experienced, someone who understands the process, who's been there. And if you get in trouble, you get stuck, or you start having a hard time with the experience because you become afraid, they can kind of walk you through it gently, nurture you through that process. So that's going to be important as well. I have a friend who has a phrase where she says, you can't unring the bell. And that's very appropriate for discussing psychedelics. I know myself personally, when I did the 5-MeO DMT ceremony, which is also known as Bufo alvarius, when I did that ceremony, it's taken me quite a bit of time to fully integrate, and I'm still integrating, to be honest. That's still a process that's taking place with me, and that was took place 8 months ago. So, it takes a while to fully integrate the experience. And if you go in and you do it quickly without a lot of thought, and you think it's going to be a quick fix, and you're not prepared to do the work, a lot of people refer to it as the work. It can be challenging, and I can see why people would call it work, but it's actually a very, very enjoyable process because it is healing and because it's mind expanding. It's transcendent, and it's leveling up your consciousness, and it's something that can be a beautiful, beautiful experience in your life that's going to benefit you for the rest of your life. But be prepared to do the work. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've done to help me through that process. So some of the things that I'll be going over include meditation, which I find is important in my daily routine. It's very rare that I miss a day without incorporating meditation. Exercise. Exercise can really help stimulate the body and help. I'll talk about how that can help you ground. It gets you grounded and back into this physical existence. Writing, recording, like I'm doing now, and journaling. Those have been very beneficial to me, so I'll discuss those. And also having discussions, conversations, which I'll talk about a little further, and reading and watching videos that speak to spirituality, to consciousness, awareness, and that provide information to feed the soul. So I'll go through those here in a minute, but before I do that, I want to ask you, please do me a favor. If you have techniques, tools, if you have routines in your life that you feel have helped you with the integration process, please respond in the comments below to this video and give your feedback and your input, because this is all about sharing. That's the point of this video. I don't have all the answers, and I don't profess to know it all. Far from it. That's why I'm integrating my experience. And I would love to read about and see what has benefited you. And then hopefully if anyone else is looking at the video as well, then they can benefit from your comments too. So going back to the routines in my life that have been helpful to me, one of the first things that I developed a routine with was meditation. And prior to my 5-MeO DMT experience, I was horrible at meditating. That was just something that had always been difficult for me. Just to be able to quiet my mind, to slow my mind down at all, was always extremely difficult for me. So fortunately, the medicine helped with that tremendously. And I got into the habit of doing the meditation every single day immediately. And it was important that I did, so that I can maintain that ability to meditate, to drop into that state. And what I find helpful for me is I've gone online and I've found guided meditations. I've also found music specifically geared towards meditation to help with meditating. I've found meditation music, that really helps put me in the mindset to be able to get into that space and center myself. And the music that one of the songs, Devi Prayer, you can Google that and you'll find it. It's Devi Prayer's first one that comes up probably will be the one that I tend to use. And then the Tibetan music, for some reason, the Tibetan meditation music just really resonates with me, and it really helps me get into that state, that mindset. So just definitely getting into a routine. When I first started meditating, I was not able to get into sitting with my legs crossed in a yoga position. And, fortunately I've become more limber because I have been stretching. I do daily stretching in the morning as well, and that's helped me to become more limber. But when I first started out, I would sit on the couch. I would literally sit on the couch with my legs over the end of the couch and just go into a meditative state in that position. And that was fine. As I've worked through, I've become more attuned to sitting in a yoga position or the meditation position with my legs crossed. And I find that I enjoy it now. I didn't at first because it was very hard for me to sit in that position. And so I didn't let it discourage me. And that's, I guess, the point, is whatever state, even if you're lying on your back, you're laying on your bed, on a couch, get comfortable and allow yourself to go into a meditative state to where you can free yourself from the cares of the world and the thoughts, the daily thoughts, and just drop into a state of just being and allow the calmness of your soul to consume you, and just allow yourself to drop into that state. And you'll find that when you come in and out of your thoughts and in and out of meditation, you'll remember things that transpired during your ceremony, or maybe information that you feel was, in a sense, downloaded to you. And that will start to open up within your mind and your heart and within your being, and become more alive and more real to you as you're processing it from that realm or that dimension into this physical existence. So meditation, I would recommend immediately to just, if you have been participated in a ceremony and you haven't yet started meditating, then I recommend you do that as quickly as possible, and don't beat yourself up if you don't feel like you're having a complete quiet mind experience, or you're allowing yourself to get into that state that we all strive to be in, where we're not thinking, where we cease the thoughts. It'll come in time, and just being still and just being is meditation. So if you find yourself starting to think about the cares of the world, your to-do list, the things that you have to get done, or the things you want to accomplish, or maybe conversations you had before, or conversations you're going to be having, or anything else that comes into your mind, just do the best you can to let the thoughts just drift by. Just observe them and become aware that you're observing those thoughts. And then those thoughts are not you, and those thoughts are something that the true you, the true I am, is observing and aware of. And there are different techniques. I like to let them float by, kind of like leaves falling off a tree, or I like to put them on in my mind, a mental chalkboard, and then blow the letters away. I'll put sentences onto the chalkboard, and then I'll just blow the letters away, so that I capture the thoughts, put them there, and then I release them. And when you watch videos on YouTube or online on meditation, you'll find there are an innumerable number of techniques that you can learn about and find what resonates with you, find what works for you, and most importantly, just start practicing the act of sitting and trying to just release yourself from thought and from cares and just be. And that'll really help you to start tuning back in if it's been a while since you participated in a medicine ceremony. And if you're going to be participating, then I recommend immediately following jump into meditation. Also exercise. If you have any form of exercise, if you have a life cycle, Orbitrack, or any type of exercise bike, or you do yoga, or if you do can do push-ups, crunches, anything that you can get again into a routine with, just daily routine. Do some form of exercise. It'll get your blood pumping, it'll get you your the body fluid circulating, and it stimulates the brain, and it also helps you feel grounded. There's something about the exercise that helps you. We are in this physical realm, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit, but we are in this physical world, and when we have the experience, we do have a tendency to come back and feel like we're so enraptured by having connected to this incredibly high state of consciousness that it sometimes takes us a while to ground ourselves back into this reality. But we're here for a reason, and I'll talk about that more. So an exercise routine, whatever routine works for you, just put something into your daily routine and stick to it. If it's 3 days a week, 5 days a week, it's up to you. But if you stick to it, that's going to really help you out. So writing, I mentioned previously, I believe that personally for me, writing, journaling my experiences. I like to have a pad of paper and a pen close by at all times. And you never know when a sudden surge of inspiration is going to hit you, and you're going to recall something that came to you in your experience when you were in that state where the medicine was working on you, and suddenly you feel like this is new information because it's being fed through your physical being, through your mind, and your mind may be taking the ineffable and trying to put it into words. It may be taking what you experienced that was outside of time, and it's trying to put it in chronological fashion. It's trying to put it on a timeline, and it's trying to process it through your brain into a format that the mind can understand, that the mind can maybe not articulate, maybe not put into words completely, but if you write down to the best of your ability what you're remembering, then that's going to help that integrate into your being from that spiritual experience into your physical, to this world that we all know is an illusion, but it's an illusion with a purpose. And we're here for a reason, like I said, so we need to make the most of that experience so that we can use that moving forward. If you want to make videos like I'm doing right now, then I recommend it. This is going to help me because I'm recording this so that I have this for my own documentation, video documentation. But of course I'm sharing it with all of you so that hopefully it will benefit others as well. And discussions, that's another great way to really bring the integration process into your life. There may not be many people that can understand your experience, and maybe you're the only one that you know, but I highly recommend that you find a trusted friend that even if they don't, even if they're not someone that has experienced healing through psychedelics, if it's someone you can be open with, and they will at least listen to you, then connect with that person and talk to them. Share your experience at whatever level you feel that you're comfortable with and you feel that they will be comfortable with. If you are fortunate enough to have individuals in your life who have been through healing with psychedelic medicine, then definitely get together with them. Sit down with them if you can. I know with the COVID current situation, that's a challenge, so you may have to do it over Zoom or on the phone, but connect with them, because talking about your experiences will help both of you out. And I know for me, if I'm helping another person, then that helps me as well, because it makes me feel good. It lifts my spirits if I'm lifting someone else's spirits. So sometimes just having that camaraderie over the experience will also not only help with the integration process, but it'll help you lift your spirits. Yep. Another thing you can do is join groups online. I've personally have joined meetup groups, and there's groups dedicated to psychedelics and psychedelics for healing, and groups dedicated to people who have participated in psychedelic ceremonies for psychedelic healing. So I'd recommend that. It's a great way to get online and connect with other people. And again, during the COVID situation, you can connect with these people online. You can look at one another, and you can share your experiences with one another, and you can actually benefit from I know I have, from the experience of those who maybe have experienced healing and worked on their integration far longer than you and me. So I'd highly recommend that also as another option to consider. Reading and watching videos. And this is another method that I found to be extremely beneficial to me personally. I've always liked reading anyway, but I've found that I've been enjoying reading books that are of a spiritual nature. I like anything from Wayne Dyer's books to A Course in Miracles, reading the teachings of Ram Dass, and those are just some examples. And I'm actually enjoying learning about quantum physics and the whole concept of multiple dimensions is incredibly fascinating to me. I enjoy getting online on YouTube, and I watch a lot of lecture videos. I've enjoyed watching Terence McKenna, Alan Watts, Dennis McKenna, Terence's brother, and I do watch some of the lectures of Ram Dass on video. I've been doing a lot of research on psychedelics, videos on the discussion of psychedelics, and information about research that's taking place for healing of PTSD, depression, anxiety, smoking cessation, through the use of psychedelics. And that fascinates me, and I think it's incredible now that we are in the middle of this renaissance, psychedelic renaissance, where we're rediscovering the healing properties and techniques of plant medicine and psychedelics overall. So I like reading that material, and doing so, that really helps me as well. It really helps me stay focused on the aspects of this medicine being incorporated into this physical world, this physical existence that we're in. And so I would recommend, I'm going to put in the notes below, I'm going to put links to a number of resources that you can check out and take a look at, and hopefully if you find them helpful, you'll use them and share them with others if you think there are others that they may be beneficial to as well. And again, please in the comments put what's been helpful to you and share your links, share your information, so that we can allow this to be kind of a point of reference for helping one another and others that may come and stumble upon this video with their integrating the medicine into their lives, psychedelic medicine into their lives. So the last thing that I want to talk about is, this is kind of a segue to something that I think is important to mention, and that's the importance of being on this side of the veil. As long as we're here in this physical realm, I alluded to this before, as long as we're here, there's a reason We're meant to be here. So if you watch my videos, my original 2 videos especially, you'll see, or if you did watch, you already know, that I had lost my husband, partner of 32 years, and then attempted suicide and wanted to check out. And then the medicine began calling me, and I was led to the 5-MeO DMT, which I took in ceremony, and it literally saved my life. Of course, after the initial experience, I was having a hard time with being in this physical realm because I had visited the other side. I went back to source. I went back to God, to the highest level of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. And coming back into this body was very interesting. For quite some time, I really, really, really had a challenging experience with wanting to just go back through the veil and stay there, even though I was no longer suicidal. It was just it's so beautiful that it became all I could think about. And to be honest with you, if I had the medicine handy, I probably would have just wanted to take the medicine every day. And there were times where I felt like, boy, if I could just do the medicine again, I can bring myself back to that state, back to that place. And not knowing that in doing so, I could be stagnating myself, not allowing the integration process to take place within my physical being, within my human side. I could have stunted and ultimately prevented myself from gaining what the ceremony and the medicine intended to give me. So I think it's really important for those of us who talk to others about our experience, and those of us who are encouraging those that are being called to the medicine, to let them know and remind them that there is going to be what we call work. It's actually very enjoyable. I hate using the word work because then that people automatically resist it. But the integration process is so beautiful. It's such a fantastic thing. And as we become grounded back into this existence, into this reality, we don't need to be trip chasers. We don't need to, sure, there are times where we may need a reset. We may need to go back to the medicine again. And maybe it'll be a different form of medicine. Maybe we did 5-MeO, and for example, in my case, I did have a ceremony with psilocybin, magic mushrooms, that actually ended up proving to be powerful in helping me to integrate everything that was downloaded so quickly in the 5-MeO experience over a longer period of time, over a slower, more gentle journey. Not that the 5-MeO wasn't gentle, it was very loving to me. I'm extremely grateful. You can watch the video if you haven't about that experience. And I had a challenging experience. I had what people watching from the outside observing may have classified as a bad trip. It wasn't a bad trip at all. It was actually very, very beautiful. Right? The whole thing, what was happening internally throughout the experience was nothing but incredibly beautiful and love-filled. And then when I took my journey with magic mushrooms much later, that was also very beautiful, and it felt so incredibly nurturing, and it helped me with integrating a lot that I had not yet integrated. But the point being, I wasn't just trip chasing. I wasn't just going, okay, now I need to do this. I did this, now I need to do this, and then I need to do this. We're not keeping a tally of, it's not a competition. It's not who has done every psychedelic, or who has done the most psychedelics, or who has done the highest number of trips. What's really important is that you you know when you need it, when the medicine calls you, but integrating the experience, especially from the beginning, your initial experience with medicine, psychedelic medicine, integrating the experience will help you to know when it's time and you're ready to be called back to the same medicine or to possibly another medicine, so that you can have another experience and further heal and further integrate. And that's something that I think is so critical to understand, that we are in this world. We are in a physical being, at this point in time. If we get hung up in semantics and duality versus non-duality, we're missing the point. We're really missing the point. It's all about love. And that's really what it comes down to, this incredible, undescribable, enormous amount of love that we can't even comprehend fully within this physical being, that we experience through the medicine, that understanding of connectedness. So while we are in a state of being in this illusion of separateness, we're learning to love, we're learning to live in love, we're learn to be love, we're learning to give love. We are just love in a manifestation, again, for the purpose of learning. So we are Creator, God, experiencing as unique divine sparks. We're growing, we're expanding our consciousness, our awareness, and we're learning to pull that love together, and that illusion of separateness ultimately will bring us all back into that oneness. But while we're in this physical realm, we have something to do. We're here for a reason, discovering our purpose, which above all and most importantly, is to be love. So I hope that helps, because I know, I've encountered people who are trip chasers, and they had the same hard time as I've had as a human being. They've had a hard time with existing in the physical realm as a human being. So I think, bringing it back full circle, we start with our experience. We begin the healing with the ceremony, which can be with a shaman, it can be with a guide, it can be with, that's a whole nother topic. But what's important is that we do recognize that this is medicine, it is sacred, and that we go into it with a mindset of honor and recognition and appreciation and gratitude for the sacredness that the medicine holds and the healing that it wants to offer. And then we allow ourselves to move through the entire process. The ceremony is still happening after the actual, ceremony. The ceremony is still within us. We carry the ceremony with us as we integrate our experience and we allow the medicine to do its work. So I think I'll close there. If you have personal experiences of the benefits from the integration, I asked you to share your integration techniques and tools. Please feel free to share what you've learned in the integration process and the outcome of your integration process and your life experiences. And then I'm going to be doing another video talking about owning your story, and that's related to this concept of being on this side of the veil. And so I will be doing that video soon and uploading it. But in the meantime, I just want you to know that, I recognize the Creator, the God, the Source in every single one of you. I recognize you in me, and I recognize me in you, and I love you.